Hi everyone, it's Mary from A Passion for Paper Shop. Thank you so much for coming to visit my channel. Today I'm here to share some more scrappy notepads and clusters that I have made from some lovely coffee and tea dyed papers, vintage music sheet, words that I've printed out and coffee dyed, and some antique vintage French book pages and coffee dyed lace with a bit of vintage trim. So this first one is with sewn with this beautiful shabby style, and I love to have the extra threads hanging loose. You can see on the back some more of that messy stitching style, and it goes back and forth. I usually go back and forth 3 times so that I can have these beautiful threads on both sides. And the back is this lovely coffee dyed paper that I make with using a plastic doily, and then I spray it with the coffee so it gets that beautiful stenciled image all in the coffee. So on the front you can see these are just a wonderful assortment. The top has the French vintage page, coffee dyed lace, and the trim. And then basically I just put a whole bunch of different paper types in here. I have a lot of this lovely grungy look. You can see on the edge that's not been inked. It's just the grunginess that comes from the coffee tea dye process. I use a mixture of coffee and tea to dye my papers, and I love all the different variations that I can get of the different patinas and shapes and colors from the variety of tea and coffee dyes that I make. This is a lovely vintage music sheet. Love that it's in a different language. And that's both sides there. Some more really grungy paper here. And I love to have the space for people to write and take notes, even though it's also got other pages. And I do sell these in my Etsy shop. They're sold in sets of 3. So this is the second one. And again, what I like to do when I make a set of 3 is, as you can see, there's a word in each one of these, so there's kind of like a theme. Sometimes I do other things to tie the 3 together to make it a set. I've also used the same music sheet in all 3, so there are some things to help the continuity of the 3 things go together in a set. Again, more of those grungy patina, and I did include another page with the coffee dyed stencil, so again they have some similarities, and this one actually has additional words, so someone could just rip these apart and use them in a journal, or just keep them there as reminders of inspirational things to help us focus our day on the positive aspects. I think that's really important. This is a grungy one, and let me turn it over. We'll take a look at the back. So again, that same lovely messy stitching, and you know, some different things hanging out the sides, which I love, that messy shabby look, and this beautiful stencil on the back again. And the third one, Cherish, this has slightly different items at the top. This is more of this trim, and then the lace is on the front. But here's some more looks at the lovely patina of these papers. Again, my coffee dyed stencil, and just kind of, you can see on the edge there that grunginess that comes from the coffee tea dye. And again, we have some of that beautiful language, and another shabby, grungy coffee tea dyed. And then the last piece is that beautiful stenciled paper. And I do sometimes have these in my shop as well. Can't remember if they're sold out right now, but I do batches of these every so often, and that's what this is too. So those are the 3 Scrappy Notepads, and they're so handy to just pop into a journal. You could even put them on the cover of a journal. I have one here that's in process. It's not been sewn at the top, but just a scrappy notepad on the front of this lovely journal that I'm working on building up, so that I could share more of as I develop it. And oh, here's one more that I could just pull out of my stash there. And this does have the top sewn in, a little stencil and coffee. And again, I just love the way these scrappy notepads have that really shabby chic kind of a look. And this, again, I put onto the cover of one of these tall skinny journals that I'm working on. Hasn't been finished yet. There's a little sneak peek. So I just think it's so fun to have these, and again, it's neat to see how they could be used as a cover. I've also used them on the inside pages, and you can clip them in or glue them in. Here's a couple of clusters that I also recently finished, and these use the same lovely papers that I have coffee and tea dyed. This one does have distress ink around the word element, and we have some cheesecloth, coffee dyed lace and fabric, and just a peekaboo of a French language vintage book there. And then this is this wonderful artist paper. It's a mixed media paper, so it's a little thicker than regular copy paper, but not as thick as cardstock. And here's another cluster, and again, these are so fun just to tuck in things that could be glued on to a tag or a journal card, put on a page. These just have that wonderful grungy look in the back. And this is more coffee dyed lace. And these are some beautiful vintage ladies that I purchased online from an Etsy shop called Honey Ruth Designs. And I love them because they're so small and adorable. Beautiful images, and they fit perfectly onto this little cluster. Let me just show you the size here quickly. It's about 2.5 by 3. So just a really nice little sized cluster to put in a journal or onto a card or a page. And these I will be listing in my Etsy shop as well. I usually sell these lovely little clusters in sets of 4. You can see there's some of that grungy look on the back, along with the messy threads. And the hand-torn fabric, I love how that looks. And this fabric, I sell this in my store too. It's been dyed with that same lace stencil pattern. So it has the pattern of this, which is paper, and this is on fabric, and I sell these in different sizes. But those are really nice to work with and so much fun to add to a vintage style journal. So that's all for today. Thanks again for stopping by. Please let me know in the comments if you would like me to film a craft with me or tutorial on how I make these scrappy notepads, or the clusters. It's something I've been doing for a while now and selling in my shop, but since I've recently started my YouTube channel, I thought it would be fun to just try to get more involved in the community of makers and just share with each other. So let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in that. And thank you so much for visiting. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.